It's hard to stay ahead of the competition and know what's coming next. The world is constantly changing and it's hard to keep up. Not only do you have to worry about your own industry, but you also have to worry about changes in technology, consumer behavior, and politics. We're living in the golden age of data with access to millions, if not billions, of customer generated points that gives you a huge head start over your competitors, if you know what to look for and where to look. This is the Crystal Ball Blueprint. It's a guide to understanding trends and using that knowledge to your advantage. And with this guide, you'll always be one step ahead of the competition. How do you know what will happen next? Well, the key lies in understanding insights and how trends work, and then using your knowledge to your advantage. In this playlist, I'm going to give you the smartest tools and methodologies that could give you insights into any trend coming up so that your team can be ready for it. No more guesswork. Let's become data-powered marketers. Your marketing is about to get a major update. Let's go. The first super trend tool in this series is Google Trends. Google Trends is found at trends.google.com and is absolutely free. So nothing to pay, you don't have to open your wallet or your purse. Google Trends is basically a marketer's dream come true, okay? By tracking real-time data, not even just data, but search data, you can see what people are interested in and adjust your marketing campaigns accordingly, which is fantastic. So let's give you an example. If you can see, well, this is a proper use case example. If you can see that searches for your product's niche or marketing angles are increasing, you can ramp up your advertising to take advantage of the demand. Now, if you can see that searches are declining, you can cut back on your spending to save money on Google. And Google Trends is an incredibly powerful tool that every digital marketer should be using. And this is why. We all want to know what's on people's minds, and Google Trends provides a way for businesses like yours and mine to mind read. Ooh, sounds spooky, right? But it's true, and let me explain why. Search intent data is much better to use than social network data. So for example, on social network data, people only show what they want people to see. Yet on Google, people ask anonymous questions, even in incognito mode, right? Although, most people don't realize that they're actually telling Google their actual truth, which is kind of ironic. How do I get taller? Oh, I don't mind my height. Okay. Now, Google Trends is not biased as it provides a more accurate portrayal of public sentiment. Do you understand what I mean by this? As opposed to trend data versus social network data. Google Trends, it will give you an insight into what consumers are eager to know and buy, and it allows tracking the search volume of keywords on Google as well as other platforms, YouTube, Google Shopping, Google Images, Google News, etc. And the data also provides top queries along with their popularity trend over time. Am I making sense? So look, I'm going to show you how to use Google Trends for your marketing purposes. A lot of people don't realize the potential of this tool, and I am here to change that for you today. So sit back, relax, and let me show you how it's done. Okay, so we're on Google. Now let's use a actual use case. So use case number one will be the popularity of competing brands. So let's see what we're doing here. Pepsi versus Coke. Okay, so Pepsi, search term. And bear in mind, we're in the United Kingdom here. Okay, so if we wanted to go worldwide, we could go worldwide. Okay, so now let's look at, compare it to Coca-Cola. Coke. So let's see if they put in Coca-Cola. Here we go, Coke. So you can see here that clearly Coke, as in Coke versus Pepsi, is much more searched for, is more relevant, more popular than Pepsi. And if we look at the different, what's actually really interesting is, as they're very similar products, okay, obviously Coke and Pepsi, you can see the trends are actually very similar throughout the year. So in June, which is summertime, so obviously people are buying more Coke and Pepsi, it's at its peak. And then what peak is this? December, so it's over Christmas. And obviously it goes down in April. I'd imagine it goes down in January. Yeah, a little bit, because obviously people are probably starting their diets, new year, new you, and you can see from that there. So this gives a really good example of kind of different trends between different competing products. Let me see if I can give you another example. So let's look at another comparison. So let's go into some chocolate. So let's go to Lindt. Lindt is my favorite chocolate. Feel free to send me any mint balls. Let's think of a competitor, Toblerone, also a search term. Let's look at the data. So we can see here Lindt, in terms of two competitors comparisons, Lindt is much more searched for, it's much more popular, it's got more brand share than Toblerone. Again, it's interesting how sometimes they seem to take a bit of a rise. Obviously Christmas time, you can see the Toblerone searches go up, which makes sense. And you can actually, if you keep going through and you have a little look, you can see that the interest in Lindt is more so in Italy, Germany, and you can see it in different regions, but we'll cover this part in another part of the video. So this is a really good use case where we've got two competitors going at each other, and we can put in here and we can see who is actually winning the race. Should we go into use case 2? Yeah, cool. Right, use case 2. So here we can now see I'm going to show you how you can find the evolution of a brand, a niche, or keywords. Okay, so I'm going to look, obviously I checked this earlier to make sure it was a good example to give you, and we're going to go for hard kombucha. So it's that drink, isn't it? Kombucha. Maybe I'm calling it kombucha. Kombucha. Okay, so we're looking at kombucha, and I'm actually now going to change the interest from the past 12 months, past 5 years, and then we'll see what we come up with. And I'm actually also going to go worldwide to give us better data. Now this is really interesting. Can you see? So what this is telling us is that 5 years ago, kombucha, it wasn't even a search phrase. It was probably very, very low key. So what's interesting is you can see that it's risen over time. Look at this, up and up and up, and it obviously had a real spike in April the 5th 2020. So maybe, like, I don't know, a celebrity started endorsing it, or it was the new fad, the new drink that makes you feel better or more energetic. So that is really interesting. So you can see, for example, that we've got a product here. This is a product example, and we can see the evolution of that product over the last 5 years and where it's going. So you can see it's almost had its peak, it's had its time, and now it's kind of on the low trend. So I'd imagine this just maintains like a nice standard trend, but it looks like it's had its peak, unless kombucha has another celebrity endorse it or explain the amazing benefits of it. So that's a use case of the evolution of a product. Let's now have a look at an evolution of a brand. Now, one that I found which was really cool, let me quickly put it in, Sezzle. So Sezzle is basically a buy now, pay later installment payment solution for e-commerce websites. And this trend clearly shows that their service offering is growing as well as the particular brand. Okay, so what's that telling us? Well, these kind of like buy now, pay later, I think PayPal do it, Klarna's another one. These are becoming more popular to add as a payment option on e-commerce stores. So by looking at this general brand, Sezzle, going up and up, and obviously it didn't even really, that probably meant something completely else back in those days, Sezzle, but you can see it's really grown momentum. And because it's a brand within a particular niche, it would also tell us that the kind of whole buy now, pay later payment solution, as well as this particular brand, is also growing its evolution in terms of its, more e-commerce stores are using it. So that's a great little idea. So we've covered the brand, we've covered a product. Okay, now let's look at the popularity of different topics over time. So I think the obvious one would be diets, right? So let me type in keto diet, and then let me compare that to the Atkins diet. Right, now let's look over past 5 years worldwide. Okay, so keto diet, Atkins diet. Let's look at from 2004. So basically, as far back as Google Trends will take us. Now, what can you see here? You can see, it's very clear to see that the Atkins diet was massively popular back in 2004, right? Hugely popular. And look how it's decreased. I mean, it had a massive decrease, but generally there's a decrease over time. So where no one is really searching for the Atkins diet anymore. And then the new kid came on the block, the keto diet. And you can see the keto diet took over from approximately Jan 2017. Look, you can see it started to appear literally out of nowhere. And that is just the general fad of diets. So you can see the keto diet didn't look back at all once it took over. And the Atkins diet just, I guess, had a slow death, really. This is really cool. And you can obviously put in other diets. I'm not sure any other diets. Is there a soup diet? Is there such a thing? Soup diet. Let's have a quick look. Well, again, soup diet is obviously just it is a thing, but very, very low searched, but quite consistent throughout the years. So as you can see, Google Trends, right? It could be a great tool to help you with a variety of tasks, including market research, competitor analysis, and also finding new content ideas. So let's take another example. By looking at Google Trends for a particular keyword or topic, you can see how we get an idea of how that particular topic is performing and whether it's increasing or decreasing in popularity over time. And this information also can be helpful in determining whether or not to focus your marketing efforts on that topic. So if we were writing a blog, or we had products on diet plans, well, we wouldn't really bother wasting our time on soup diet or Atkins diet, but we'd put a lot of resource behind the keto diet. So that's a nice little example. So you can see how we use Google Trends to compare the popularity of these two keywords or topics. And again, it can be helpful for understanding which topic is more popular with consumers and obviously tailoring your content accordingly. Right. Okay, should we do another use case? So this will be the fourth use case with Google Trends. And this use case is to see if there's any complementary products that is about to trend. So let's use the keto diet example. Keto diet. There we go. Now we're going to make use of Google's auto suggest tool. So we're going to put in the keyword here, or the product or the niche. And can you see we've got pills coming up? So that's interesting. So what this is telling us now is that keto diet pills, as suggested by Google, is a complementary product. And we can see here that it started to trend around February 21. Now it's gone down again, but it's a nice complementary product that we could also use as part of our data. So if we've got a blog on diets and we're talking about keto diets or videos, we can now start talking about keto diet pills. So you can see that's pretty interesting on a really, well, I wonder if we had another one, what will happen? Keto diet. So I don't know what this is, this whole Purinox thing, but it's given us an idea that Google said is related to keto diet pills. So this could be another topic of a search term that we can look at, and we can see how it compares. I mean, it's nowhere in comparison to keto diet or pills, but it will still give us an idea of what's going on in the marketplace. So that's great. So that's a really, really good way of basically finding complementary products or ideas or niches. Now here's a quick Google Trends, I call it notes, tips and tricks. Right, first of all, obviously we can see you can change by the sub-region. So if we wanted to go worldwide, we could go worldwide. If we wanted to just remove this for a minute. If we wanted to go, I don't know, if you're in Australia, you can look at Australian data. We can also look at the time range, so we can literally do a custom time range all the way back to 2004, and it's quite good looking back at 2004 because it allows you to really see the trend data as it increases or decreases, but 5 years is also good. And obviously if you want more recent, 12 months, and if you want literally like what is going on in the last hour, you can look at that. But that's really if you're a content marketer and you trend hack and you really want to see what's going on. So let's just go back to worldwide, and let's quickly go back to 12 months. Now, all categories, let me show you what that is. So if you click on all categories, you can see all the different types of categories that you could go into. So if you wanted to look at, for example, home and garden, outdoor heaters. This would be a good idea. It's probably a good example to show you. So you can see in home and garden, it makes sense, right, that outdoor heaters are more popular in the winter months than in the summer months. You know, okay, so that kind of makes sense. So we can look at home and garden, different categories, and then let me put this back onto all. We can also look at search platforms. So this is the people that have typed in outdoor heaters on web search, but we can also look at image search, which is kind of cool because you should be using image. News search, obviously there's not much in the news about outdoor heaters. Google Shopping is a good one, so you can see exactly how many people are looking for outdoor heaters on Google Shopping. And finally YouTube. So if you're a video creator or use a lot of videos in your content commerce strategy, then this is another way, a fantastic way of seeing what is trending on the different category or different search platforms. So let me talk about a quick use case here. You can see on these categories if a particular topic is more popular on YouTube as opposed to search, and likewise you can see the popularity within Google Images, and if necessary create images for those particular keywords. So if you see a particular trend in Google Images, it would be a good idea to just create images within your website and obviously have the file name as the keyword as well as the alt tag, and then hopefully people will come to your store or your content via Google Images. Right, now let's see other little cool things. We can see related topics. So related topics here. So we can see, what's this? Virtual private network, fire pit. So fire pit is obviously related to outdoor heaters. Now, in terms of when you look between rising and top basically means the most popular topic. So scoring, you've got to bear in mind, is on a relative scale where a value of 100 is the most commonly searched topic and a value of 50 is a topic searched half as often as the most popular term, and so on, if that makes sense. So obviously a patio heater, when I wrote outdoor heaters, is top. Space heater is 21, so basically 20% compared to 100% of patio heater searches. When we look at rising, that's related topics with the biggest increase in search frequency since the last time period. So if you see any results, what you see here is marked as breakout. That's basically had tremendous increase, probably because these topics are new and have had very few, if any, prior searches. I'm not sure what virtual private network has got to do though with outdoor heaters. Related queries. So related queries, you can see that the people searching for your term also search for these queries, and you know, in the same way I explained top and rising, you can see, so best outdoor patio heaters, this is keywords you'd go after, or images with alt tags, and top outdoor patio heaters, best patio heaters. So this gives you a really good idea, and obviously you can download that data as well. So let's go back and do a quick use case for this. If we go back in and we type in keto diet again, so if we were in the keto diet space and we pull down to related queries, look, we can see here that keto burger is rising, Dr. Berg's keto diet plan, the agogi diet, whatever that is. There's obviously a lot of people looking for keto information in Punjabi burgers. So burgers would be great if you had content. And let's have a look at the top queries, diet plans, keto for beginners. So it really does give you a really cool idea. Now, do you want to hear some pro tips and tricks, right? So, there's quite a few things here, but number one, I created my little own data prediction model, which I've used based off 5 years of Google Trends data. Okay, now, if you want to see how that works, I'm so sorry, you have to head over to Hartz, HARTZ, brands, brands.com/YouTube and sign up to my email list, and I will email that out to you at some point. That is proprietary information, and I've used it to successfully launch products based off that trend analysis. Okay, that's one little pro trick that I'm not going to share on this video. I'm very sorry. But what you can do, will show you another one quickly, is if you're signed in, you can actually create trend email alerts. Okay, so what you need to do, unfortunately I'm not signed in, so I can't actually show you, but you head over to the subscriptions tab and you can create alerts which will be sent directly to your email. So, and obviously you can decide if you want to receive daily emails or once a month, it's up to you. And what you can also do, which is kind of very cool, once you have your general keywords or topics that you want to keep an eye on, you can use the Google Trends embed feature. You then take the HTML code that it gives you and you can add it to your own website, and voila, you've got your own trends dashboard. You can see in real time, in daily time, in hourly time, exactly what's happening. And you know what, I'll make a video specifically on how to create your own trends data dashboard because it is very cool. So remember, this is a series on how to find exactly what is trending in your business with some really good secret tricks and hacks. This is video 1 of the series. Now, next up on your screen, you'll see the second one, which is how to use Google Keywords Planner. This is an amazing tool if you know how to use it right. So click the button on that video right now and watch it. And don't forget, if you want my own data prediction model based off 5 years worth of Google Trends data, but be sure head to heartsbrands.com/YouTube. Right, see you in the next video.